What's up, guys? Here with you with FC Wonderkid, episode 43. Here with my guy, Breton. How are you?
I'm sad. We had to say goodbye to the AFCON, and now we're just, another week closer to a Portugal-Turkey showdown. Love it. Love it. But, another week has passed, and there is just so much to talk about. So let's not waste any time, man. Let's keep going.
You mentioned it, so let's start with the AFCON, right? Because the winners was my prediction from the start. The golden generation managed to take it home for the first time, and it was fantastic because Aliou Cissé, the coach of Senegal, lost 20 years ago a final against Cameroon, and now in Cameroon's home soil, he wins against Egypt, the final that Senegal wins the AFCON. So phenomenal coach. You love to see it. Pride of the nation, and managed to get it done. So
yeah, and it is. You said it. It's their golden generation. Edouard Mendy has been amazing for them. Obviously, Sadio Mane really pepped up when they needed him most. But they win their first AFCON title, and it was a pretty boring game. Let's be honest. Yeah. Right? I mean, I know you were live for it, and were you falling asleep?
Yeah, I was pretty much falling asleep, I'd say, yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that it was one hell of a entertaining tournament, and the only thing I got to mention is I'd like to know what you think. I'd like to actually know what our listeners think. Why would Mo Salah be the fifth penalty taker? Why do we not put our best penalty takers first when it comes down to it? It's a crapshoot anyway, right? Put those with the steely nerves up front because you never know if you're actually going to get to fourth or fifth. So it's heartbreaking to see a Mo Salah not even get a chance to help Egypt out in penalty kicks. So
I think you're pointing out a problem, Breton, 100%. Like they should have taken that penalty earlier. But another problem I saw from the AFCON was the awards. Who won the best goalkeeper? Gabaski didn't win the best goalkeeper of AFCON. And that is not the truth. That guy was the best in AFCON. At least for me, I'll say my opinions right here. So, but Mendy has won a Champions League. He's won a Super Cup. Like this man can't best FIFA goalkeeper award, and now the AFCON. So he can't stop winning, Mendy too. So it's a phenomenal story.
You can even throw the UEFA Super Cup in there too, right? No, Edouard Mendy. This is taking nothing away from his tournament. His tournament was very, very good for them. But no, Gabaski should have won it. And Edouard Mendy even came out and said that Gabaski was the best goalkeeper throughout that whole tournament. And what a tournament he had. So it stinks. I think maybe he got hurt by the fact that he didn't play a couple of the games because he started the tournament as the reserve goalkeeper. But in the end, man, he gave Egypt the best chance that they could to win that tournament. And to be honest, I don't even think Egypt ever played as well as they were probably capable of doing. And I don't think Senegal did either. There were a bunch of other teams that were punching well above their weight that I thought had a really, really good chance. But hey, we were both right. We both said Senegal in the beginning, except I waffled and I changed it to Morocco, only for them to lose their next game. You stuck with Senegal, and kudos to you, man. Kudos to you for winning.
But and Sadio Mane, best player in the tournament too. Returning now to Liverpool. Now Liverpool have Mo Salah on a revenge against Sadio Mane next game. They have Luis Diaz with something to prove. Jota that can't stop scoring. So, but I have to end up the AFCON with saying Sadio Mane, big ups on him being the best player in AFCON. And for that, he gets a stadium in his name in Senegal, okay? So big up on him, and he helps a lot with charity work, and he gives back an awful lot to the country. So you love to see it, man. You love to see it.
You do. I got to ask, did you see the video of Jurgen Klopp, massaging Sadio Mane's shoulders basically saying, congratulations for your AFCON win. And then Mohamed Salah comes around the corner getting ready for training, and Jurgen Klopp immediately goes and walks away as if he didn't want to show any sort of outpour of support for Sadio Mane while Mo Salah was in the same room. But hey, we said it previous to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sadio Mane and Senegal are now going to have to face a very pissed off and a very hungry Egyptian national team. Mo Salah being the star of that team. It is going to be what I think is going to wind up being a phenomenal World Cup qualifying home and away leg. So once again, it stinks. You're not going to see one of Mo Salah or Sadio Mane at the World Cup.
There you go. So staying at the Liverpool talk, okay, I just want to say this. That match against Leicester, I was impressed, okay? And Harvey Elliott, I am going to mention it again, because every time I'm seeing Harvey Elliott play now, this kid is impressing me. And I'm going to say it. The best Portuguese forward right now in the Premier League is no doubt Diogo Jota. Okay? Yeah. Diogo Jota is stepping up when he needs to step up. And honestly, Firmino, he's out. Yeah. He's out, okay? He's out. You cannot put on the bench Jota right now. It's impossible. Yeah. And personally, I am so impressed on how he comes from Wolves to Liverpool, and he is double the player he has at Wolves, okay? Yeah. Liverpool and Klopp, phenomenal development, okay? And the recruitment, top notch.
Oh. Absolutely. I was going to say, in the scouting department, for finding, because we all thought, I mean, I had reservations, Diogo Jota. I mean, we knew that he was good, but was he Liverpool good? Liverpool chasing a Premier League good? Liverpool chasing a Champions League good?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not a scout. And they knew, and he just scored it was 2 midweek. I think those were his 100th and his 101st career goals. So
crazy.
Kudos to him for hitting that milestone. And you took the words right out of my mouth. Jota is the best. I would go as far to say Jota is the best Portuguese player in the Premier League right now, not just forward. I think in terms of form and in terms of
it's Cancelo. It's Cancelo, the guy that I straight away think that Ruben Diaz, okay, he's not being peaked, but not like Diogo Jota. But I get you, definitely, man.
But now everyone has to apologize to you, because if you were such a Cristiano Ronaldo hype artist, you'd be fighting back here. But no, apparently Ralf Rangnick can bench Cristiano Ronaldo, but Jurgen Klopp cannot bench Diogo Jota.
You mentioned the name we're gonna talk after. It's Ronaldo, right? So Ronaldo has no goals and no assists still in 2022. 3 games, no wins, okay, for Man United, in which Burnley's causing you trouble, okay? So I it's not looking good, okay? It's not looking good. I'm not impressed right now. And what makes me laugh the most is when I see the news about who's going to substitute Ralf Rangnick, because we know Ralf Rangnick has to be the sporting director next season, okay? Sure. He seems to be a rational person, which makes sensible football decisions. So hopefully, Man United fans, hopefully he will stay at the club and will be doing, I will still be making decisions. But what I was going to say was, I see that Man United players want Poch to come. They want Poch to come. And immediately in my mind, what do I think? They want the same old chit-chat. They want the same old chit-chat. Because if it's Erik ten Hag coming to that United locker room, I'm telling you, he's going to boss around, and all that deadwood that Ronaldo didn't see when he first arrived at Man United, it will leave. It will leave. So that's why I think Pochettino is the choice, the player's choice. But no, please don't make it happen. Please don't make it happen, United. If United get Poch, it's going to be the same.
It feels like it'll be the same. I just don't understand the backing. of that. It just feels like, pounding your head against the wall, expecting a different outcome. You still get a concussion. So, I didn't understand. Okay, Ronaldo's older now, but against Burnley is who you rest him against, so that you can have him come off the bench to play 25. You barely give him any time to do anything. He plays 25 minutes against a pretty crappy Burnley team that actually, stepped it up against United some. But he has not scored at all coming off the bench this season, or even assisted coming off the bench this season. And there hasn't been many times. And just think about this. When they have sidelined CR7 and not started CR7, they have not won a game yet.
Gee, that's it.
Yeah. It's not that many games, okay? So it's a small sample size. And I do understand we do have to go back, and when CR7 was starting earlier in the season, they did lose like 5 out of 6 matches at some point, which got Solskjaer canned. But recently, since December, I believe, okay, when Cristiano Ronaldo starts in the Prem, they are 6 win, 1 loss, and 2 draws now. Okay, after today's draw with Southampton. So that's a little bit better, and Ralph Rangnick, this is not science. Ronaldo has a ticking clock. Start the man, okay? Even if you think for some reason, something's wrong, you got to start the man, because I don't see a difference. And by the way, Edison Cavani's probably leaving at the end of the season.
Oh, right? Yes. And we saw Fabrizio mentioning that a young striker is in the short list at Man United. So, yes, Cavani for sure going to leave. I think he's going to River Plate even to replace Julian Alvarez. It's going to Man City. So, all that happening. But you said it. I know this is the biggest drought of goals of Ronaldo since 2009. But still, you mention it. The leadership, the competitiveness that he brings to that team. No doubt in my mind it needs to happen. And I just wanted to say this too. Erik ten Hag is a phenomenal choice, but I am going to go bold here, and I'm going to say Ruben Amorim at Sporting. I am starting to say he is a good choice too to go to Man United right now. Smart, good communicator, very good with the locker room, a really good relationship with the players, and overall a smart individual, okay? I think that's an underrated quality nowadays, to be a smart individual. He knows what to say. He says it at the right times. And, I really like Ruben. So,
he also seemed to have the cooler head amidst that clash of titans in Liga BWin yesterday. He was hugging people and smiling at people. Instead of flying off the handle like the majority of everybody on the pitch. But I'm sure we'll get to that, right? Unless you want to go there now. But I just had to – I don't mean to go back to United. I'm sorry, I don't need to rewind even before United and go back to Liverpool for too long. But I do need to bring up the fact that, man, Luis Diaz, when he got on that first start, okay, it looked as if he was a Liverpool player for the last 10 years.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we fit right in. And again, that probably goes back to the scouting. It probably goes back to Klopp. It goes back to just understanding what attributes they're looking for when it comes to a player. Luis Diaz has been showing it for years, but
I agree with you.
Not for years, but like for several seasons now. And it was just great to see him fit relatively seamlessly into that attack.
Yeah, so. Even Klopp said it. I think it was the best match he'd ever seen, first signing, like playing at Liverpool, Luis Diaz. So, and I agree with you. He had that tenacity. He didn't want to lose the ball. Clearly, he's a bit weak compared to the Premier League caliber. You can see it, like straight off the bat. But that happens when you're adapting to a new league. But I am extremely confident that it's going to work out. And ending up Man United, Liverpool talk, I got to say on my end, yes, he's a target, but he's a right target to have. Maguire. I keep on saying it. Now, I'm at the point of saying 80 million or bad performances. I do not care. He's out. He has to be out, Maguire, because it's not even the money. You are destroying the performances of your team by putting him on the pitch. This is what Varane can't take it. You can see the frustration on that defense with Maguire. In my opinion, I can see it personally. So, and another thing too, everyone who says, oh, Ralf Rangnick's being exposed with some results, no, you can clearly see that he knows what he's doing by getting Dalot at the right and improving 200% the build-up play of Man United by just making that simple decision of snubbing Bissaka, which was a fan favorite, okay? That is not an easy call by Ralf Rangnick to put Bissaka on the bench and trust in Dalot, which improved the game drastically. So I had to say.
Hey, I've been pushing back on Maguire for some time, and I'm running out of excuses. Watching him against Southampton, I targeted him and was watching him more often than not. And again, I'm not a seasoned scout here or anything like that, but man, Armando Broja played him multiple times. Like I mean, literally, he goaded him to come in for that tackle. And probably should have gotten a penalty kick out of it.
Yes.
At one time, he got beat on the wing first, and found his way, bungling back into the penalty box. And Broja just almost manhandled him in that sense. Invited the contact, and then he got stomped on at the end of it, accidentally. But Maguire just looked lost a lot of the times, and I was surprised. I don't know. I am surprised. He has an issue with confidence right now, is what it seems like. Well, I don't think he's been this bad.
I agree 100%. And that's why, honestly, I think Man United fans need to hit it. And it's done. It's done. Okay, Maguire no more. Okay. But you mentioned fast to Porto Sporting, what happened there. And I told you, Breton, that was going to be a bold matchup. And it was, okay. And it was not... Don't get me wrong. The ending was not bold, okay? That is embarrassing for Portuguese football that is happening. But what would you expect in the middle of a 40-man brawl of a Porto Sporting 2-2 at the end? Who is in the middle of it? Who is in the middle of it? Pep. Pep. It has to be the man. The man, the myth, the legend. But I have some things that I got to criticize, okay, about this game. That in 105 minutes played, only 43 was with the ball moving. This is Portuguese football in this play. This is the problem, okay? We need to improve the styles of play. It can't be all fouls. And, like Nani said it. Like, Grich screams. These guys are screaming with the refs. So the ref was a young guy, 34 years old. He couldn't handle it, man. The Porto bench were... It was such an intense game, Breton. Such an intense game.
What was it? 4 red cards were handed out. Pep, surprisingly, though, that was his first red card in the league for like a while.
But he got it after. He got it after the game was ended. But like Kovac was the red that changed the game. 48th minute or 49, Kovac gets a red card for second yellow. Immediately Sporting with less player, and it's Kovac. So they were winning 2-1. Game change 2-2. But if there's a player I gotta highlight in this match, talking football, it's Fabio Vieira. Okay. Fabio Vieira already has 10 assists in the league, okay? And Fernando Santos, you have no excuses. Call this man up, okay? For the games of Turkey and the game against Italy, hopefully, okay? So give a chance to Fabio Vieira. He deserves it. The kid is special.
I'm with you there because Porto was down 2-0, right? And it was his goal, his assist, and then I was looking into this, he has 7 assists in his last 6 games for Porto. Okay. And here's the crazy part is I think he's only got 8 starts in the league this year. 8. 8 starts, and he has double-digit assists this year. So clearly he makes the most of his time when he's on the pitch. The fact that he doesn't start, well, you know what? It almost doesn't matter, right? It's Porto that's at the top of the table with a 6-point lead, correct?
Sporting needed to win this match, but the fact that Fabio Vieira didn't start too many matches too because Luis Diaz was there. So now there's this special dynamic between Vitinha and Fabio Vieira that I gotta say too, Vitinha is definitely one of the most complete youngsters midfielders out there. He can dribble the ball extremely well. He can pass the ball extremely well. He can shoot outside the box. He's got that vision. Vitinha is tremendous, just like Fabio Vieira, but Fabio Vieira is more loose to go to the wings. He's more of an Iniesta, and Vitinha is more of a Xavi. Okay, that's the comparison between the two. But
so which one hits the Premier League first?
Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira hits the Prem first because he is just he's got that he can express his game, okay? Just like Bot. Both, I feel like they're going to go to these free roles positions in the Prem. And don't get me wrong, Fabio Vieira, anyone that gets him, if he builds up muscle, he's going to be a proper stud. And I just wanted to say, fun fact, okay, for the listeners. There is kind of like drama between the Portuguese presidents too. And at the end of that match, because there was as I said, a 40-man brawl, that thing was a madness, okay, in the middle of the pitch. Afterwards, press conference happens. The Ruben Amorim doesn't go to the press, and Hernandez, the Sporting president, says this. The end of the match expresses the 40 years of reign of Pinto Costa at Porto. So basically, he's throwing in the mud shade to Porto's president, which by many people in that city is the best president in the history of sports. I am not capping people, okay? This guy has won it all for Porto. And Porto was a small team before, I'll be honest. Right. And Pinto Costa put it at the same level as, not a small team, but not at the same level as Benfica and Sporting. And he managed to make it happen. So there's a lot of shade happening. I just had to say that. Oh.
And from a more recent point of view, it is Porto that has a 50-game win streak, 50-game 50 game where they haven't lost it match.
At home.
So
Yes.
At home.
Yes.
So clearly that's a fortress, and the fact that they were down 2-0 and Fabio Vieira let it come back, and then Pep did some enforcing after hours. That's some good stuff. What the hell happened with the stewards though? Did Zapata that spit at the stewards? The stewards.
As I told you, it's a menace. It's okay. It's a very tough atmosphere to go play, and it was hectic then. It was just hell. Everybody was getting involved, and it was not good to see. As a fan of Portuguese football, I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of expecting it. That's the problem.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. We all knew, Pep's getting that yellow. It's gonna all pile up, and everything's gonna hit the fan. So you know what I'm saying? Right. So that that happened. But
I haven't seen a scrum like that in a long time. And somehow on Twitter, a full English broadcast of that last 5-6 minutes post game made its way into my eyes, so I was able to see exactly what you were talking about, because you were texting me the whole time while it was happening. I'm like, I can't see this. But yeah, that is pretty embarrassing. But ultimately, it was still a hell of a game, and Fabio Vieira is definitely one to watch.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, I got to talk about something that. I've had, it's been a struggle with this. Okay. This whole season, kind of watching, whether it's watching a Romelu Lukaku or it's watching CR7 get a bunch of shade for not scoring recently. I've come to the realization that Jan Oblak, who I have definitely stand for, right, over the last several months, he is having a bad year. And he's made some pretty bad mistakes for them. And let's be honest, Atletico Madrid is not having, a year that's up to Diego Simeone's standards. It's certainly not up to a lot of the players on that team's standards. But Jan Oblak is not one of the best goalkeepers in the world anymore. And what made him the best was his consistency most of the time, right? And that consistency has definitely been flawed this year. It's weird to see that.
Well, you know why, Britson. You know why that's happening, man. And I feel more sorry to Oblak, because Oblak had this fortress and this elite stats, and Simeone is not doing justice with the center backs in front of him. That is a madness. The hectics, it's the formation, and we didn't mention last pod, but Barcelona, okay. They managed to beat Atletico, and I gotta say, that wasn't style. Ronaldo was scoring. Like, you see the youth involved, the hype between Jordi Alba and Dani Alves. The duo is back, and I was hyped when I was seeing all that. But yes, I agree. Oblak is very down in form, but I'd still say top 3, top 5 keepers in the world. But we're not seeing it. I have to agree.
No, and you can't rate a guy. I mean, people have down seasons. It's surprising. But they did just come off of one of their most successful seasons. So you tend to see maybe a step back if you're not a true dynasty, I guess. I mean, hell, we just saw Bayern Munich get shellacked by Bochum. How'd you say it? Bochum?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, one of the lower teams in the Bundesliga. So even in a micro portion of the season, dips in form can certainly happen, or weird things can happen. But yeah, Oblak has consistently been under what we expect of him this year. And that consistency normally works for him in terms of peak form. And he's not that. So do I think you go a different direction and you build around a younger goalkeeper for Atletico moving forward? Probably not. I don't know. But it was just so weird. And I looked into it more because there was that whole, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, there was that whole thing where people were throwing a lot of shade at Diego Simeone for forcing one of his new signings, Daniel Vaz, one of the D mids that they signed from Celta, maybe, or was it from Valencia?
Yes.
Valencia, I think.
Yes.
Signed him, threw him in there. He tweaked something, and instead of taking him out, he basically said he couldn't go. He forced him to play the rest of the game, and now the guy's out for like multiple months with a torn meniscus or something. So Diego Simeone is like not having a good PR day, and obviously Jan Oblak's form doesn't help that either.
I didn't even know that, and I was gonna follow up saying Felix came public saying I played 6 months with a broken bone in my foot, so it wouldn't be surprised if it was pushed by Simeone, because if you don't play. If you don't play now, you won't play afterwards. That's the type of chit chat that I hate. Oh my days, no. You just my day. I didn't know this. I didn't know what you said before. But I want to lead up with a positive though. Even with this, playing 6 months with the broken bone, I see Felix saying, "I want to win a Champions League. I want to win a World Cup. I want to win a Euros, and of course." I want to win a Ballon d'Or. But for that to happen, these injuries, he can't be playing with these injuries. And for sure, he can't stay at Atletico if he's going to win the Champions League, okay? Talk to Ronaldo, he'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, I got one other place I got to go, and I mentioned him last week. And, I mean, Olivier Giroud just keeps doing it, dude. He's 35 years old. He has 4 goals in his last 2 games, 4 goals in his last 150 minutes. And he's got double digits this season, barely starting for AC Milan. I think the bigger news here is Theo Hernandez signing a new deal for AC Milan. But I just love it because you have Olivier Giroud doing it, who obviously used to be a Chelsea striker, Arsenal striker, then Chelsea striker. And then you also have at Inter Milan, the direct replacement of somebody that we'll mention at the end of this. Edin Dzeko has 14 goals and 7 assists on the season. He's got 10 goals in Serie A, and he as well is 35 years old, turning back the clock, just doing awesome things. And AC Milan and Inter Milan are fighting at the top for the Scudetto. And then you have a certain Romelu Lukaku who is taking the Club World Cup by storm. He's got 2 goals in the Club World Cup, but obviously only has 5 goals in the Premier League this season. So it's just amazing to me that these guys are just consummate professionals in my mind. And I love seeing it. I know we talk about 23 and under here more often than not, but I do love seeing Olivier Giroud turn back the clock and scoring goals for fun, getting service. And I love seeing Dzeko. Everybody said that they were going to get a downgrade. Antonio Conte leaving because of the turmoil, because of the financial hole. They had to sell Lukaku. They had to sell some of their best players. And boom, they're at the top of the Serie A table with Edin Dzeko scoring 14 goals, having 7 assists. it's cool. It's cool to see the turn back the clock type of moment for these guys. Makes you wonder what's it going to take for Lukaku to get up there.
I agree with you. What does it say? He'll take an awful lot, but that it won't be what he's having right now. But you said it. Yes, the man is going bold supposedly in the Club World Cups. So Chelsea won it. So yeah. we might talk after about it. So, but I just want to mention, because you said AC Milan, it's Theo Hernandez, that extension, getting it done until 2026. Okay, I am sure every single club in the world came not. Even PSG with Nuno Mendes. They must have asked, how's the situation with Theo? Like, every single club in the world wanted Theo Hernandez. And the fact that AC Milan is keeping him says to the world that AC Milan wants to be a big boy club. But the other two extensions that was in the tweet of Fabrizio is get Benacer done and get Rafael Leão done. Because, yeah, those need to happen. And I'm already... Every time I see AC Milan play, I always think the same thing. Brahim Diaz. How is this guy not mentioned more? And I remember at a given time that Brahim Diaz was being compared next to Foden, who was going to be a bigger talent at Man City. And I got to say, everyone's talking about Foden, but please don't stop looking at Brahim Diaz at the other side at AC Milan too, okay? They might coexist one day back, okay? Maybe at Man City, because Brahim Diaz is improving a lot, okay? Don't sleep on this, people, okay? And the other player that has developed elite for AC Milan this season, not Giroud. He seems to improve too every season too, like you're mentioning. But Tonali. Tonali is just a different player. He's more confident, okay, dictating the tempo, that I wanted to see that. And he's more aggressive, okay? Something that AC Milan lacked big time. And now that Kessié is leaving, you need that midfielder that is enforcing that aggression. And Tonali wants it. So, Capitano Tonali.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
It might happen. Well, I'm confident, though. It's
good because he's obviously stepped forward in leaps and bounds, and that's exactly what we talk about when we say, progression for players is not generally linear, right? There are ups and downs. And when Tonali came from Brescia, right? It was Brescia? Originally, I mean, we all thought that he was going to hit the ground running, and he didn't. He didn't right away. Hell, it took a season and a half, even longer than that, for Tonali really to start, showing his mettle. So it is exciting because they locked down Theo. That's a big statement for them in terms of their pursuit for a Scudetto at some point in the near future. And what's cool is I just love thinking about. I know they don't go left. Left doesn't go versus left on the pitch. But Gozens for Inter when he gets healthy, and Theo for AC Milan, those battles for years to come, I think it's going to be kind of a Milan-centric Serie A for the foreseeable future.
That is a good shout. But here in the news, I got to talk about the club that I tend to speak every week about, just the sparkle of it, and some big news for me that I'm extremely bullish on the Barcelona with Haaland news and all that. Some really positive news come to my feed, and they signed a new deal with Barcelona. Spotify will be paying 93 million a year to Barcelona. And people, thank you for making my dream of Haaland become much more possible, because it is, Breton. This makes it happen. But different from the Rakuten, this company deal, they were paying 55 million a year, okay, and Laporta clearly showing that he can do business better than Bartomeu, getting a 3-year deal. Okay, the rights of the stadium, that is the big thing, differentiating both deals. Camp Nou is gonna be named Spotify Camp Nou, okay, so the music is gonna be going bold, I hope, in that stadium. But if it's to get Haaland, put all the music.
You're not just gonna pipe Joe Rogan through at the stadium all the time. Joe Rogan, everywhere. And I guess Daniel Ek, who is the CEO of Spotify, I guess he's okay with his 50% drop in market cap, at least in the American stock market. But I guess he's going to give up his pursuit of Arsenal. You may recall that he was the one that was trying to chase Kroenke out of town at Arsenal, so that he could hand it back to the club, hand it back to the fans. And unfortunately, that didn't go anywhere. But Daniel Ek and Spotify, yeah, that's pretty bold. I don't know. It feels too commercial for me to call Camp Nou Spotify Camp Nou. But hey, I guess times are a changing when you need to fund Erling Haaland. Although I thought Xavi was very, very, very straightforward about what he wants next, and that's a center back. Right. So what if they spend a good portion of that on like a Jules Koundé instead?
No worries. They'll still have it with the with the money that they'll get from Depay too. Sergi Roberto not getting an extension. Titi leaving. Luke De Jong doesn't get 25K a week. That's not too much. So, but a lot needs to happen still at Barcelona. But yes, again, and the COVID times. I just want to say this last. Barcelona had such a tough time, and we're asking for the Super League and all that because, like, the sponsor I went to see, Rakuten, in the COVID year, the first year of COVID, they paid Barcelona 30 million. So the first year of Spotify to the Rakuten year is a 60 million difference of sponsor deal. A year. So the Barcelona marca, the merchandise of Barcelona wasn't being used the correct way, and Laporta is going to do the correct marketing of this brand because Barcelona is one of the biggest brands in the world. So Spotify naturally wants to collab with them.
Yeah, well, I don't mean to be a wet blanket here, but I think you're going to find it come out that the terms of this deal is a lot less exciting than what the news has made it be. I don't know where they would find this, but yeah, I do look forward to the day that Xavi is a guest on Joe Rogan Experience. So that would be interesting. Joe Rogan talking about tactical awareness and tiki-taka. And somehow, anyway. But no, that's a good shout. And you're right. You have Barcelona the brand. Barcelona the brand is very much, it very much is Meshke un Club, right? Or Meshke the Club. So it is marketable, even in times of financial turmoil. And if it's not Spotify, it's Rakuten. If it's not Rakuten, it's likely somebody else. The corporate sponsors will always be there. Something big happens, and they should be able to rebuild this team in a different light, a whole lot quicker than say any other club on the planet. If they get it right. So I'm with you there. I just we'll see.
And they need to. But there was positive news for this monopolization with Haaland, Vini, and Mbappé. There was news that was saying that Real Madrid was telling Haaland to stay another year at Dortmund and get it done the following because of the salaries. So that gives me hope for the Haaland-Barca deal. But talking about a different topic now, it's the Bundesliga dominance of Bayern Munich seems to be having a new topic inside it. And Bayern Munich, if they win the Bundesliga this season, they're going to win it for 10 consecutive years, okay? And that is dominance. Pure dominance. And that's why I see the suggestion right now of playoffs. Okay, I'm speaking with the right person, right? With the MLS playoff system.
Oh, yeah.
So why does the Bundesliga want to have more winners, but you think the playoff system is a positive for the Bundesliga, Breton, for European football?
Yeah, I mean, I think parity fits in with their fan-centric type of approach to things, right? You know, how their ownerships are set up. And 10 years is a long time. Now, I don't think Bayern ever gets enough credit for how well they've managed their club, because we've seen clubs with similar resources make terrible mistakes and give that up. But it does also feel like nobody has ever even reached or touched or come close to the upper echelon of Bayern. And yeah, the best way to do that is we just saw it, Bochum beating them 4-2. That on any given day, somebody can get embarrassed, and the playoffs hand that type of experience to you. I mean, coming from NFL, NHL, it's very Americanized, but it isn't exactly unique just to America. But you've seen teams dominate and go 16-0 in the NFL, only to lose in their first playoff game and miss out on really what they all have come here for, and that is to win the Super Bowl, right? Just ask the two clubs that are currently going to duke it out, LA Rams, right, and the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL. These are not clubs that were the most dominant throughout the whole season, right? So that parity is really interesting, but I also feel like, I don't know. I'd be interested to know what Bundesliga fans think about this. I'd be able to stomach it because, hey, my whole life is playoffs right now. Even in MLS, they do have the supporter shield, which says the best record, right, gets a nice medal, gets a nice plate, the shield, and you get to put that in your trophy case. But you ultimately have to duke it out for MLS Cup, which is, the eighth seed has just as much of a chance to win than the first seed. Yeah. So I like it. I feel like it fits in the Bundesliga. It would not fit anywhere else.
And the Champions League spots, how would it go then? That's what that was my big question while you were talking. The semifinalists would then be the Champions League playoff spots because it's four teams.
Well, not necessarily. You could make the league. The league still has to have, dominance and relevance. So you make the league. The European spots, maybe you siphon one off, and you say, one is up for grabs for the top team that does not qualify for the playoffs, that goes furthest in the playoffs, wins the last European spot.
A lot of thinking needs to get into this, but if they're proposing this, there must be some solid thinking on it. But yeah, I could see something happening with it. And Bayern Munich loves to recruit from the North American market. And let's see what Fonzie Davies there. Chris Richards, on loan. But I had two things of Bayern Munich leading with this. It's Müller is 3 assists away of equaling his best season ever, okay? 18 assists right now, 21 assists, his best season ever. And we're still in February, okay? That is mad. And I just wanted to put it out there again. I think I'm not more sure than ever, but I'm getting to a stage that I think it's really going to happen. And I'm very confident in Florian Wirtz is going to Bayern Munich, people, okay? I really can see this deal happening. And because they're saving up. They're saving up for that one player. And the more I see Wirtz play, the more I see it's gonna happen to Bayern Munich. So
that's funny you say that because they were Thiago Tomas had 2 goals against Bayer Leverkusen, but guess who took over in the last 10 minutes of the game?
Oh, Wirtz, right?
Yep, he had a goal and an assist in the last 5 minutes of the game to put the game away 4-2.
That is clutch. You see how ridiculous that is at 18? That is unbelievable. That I don't see. I'm not gonna say I didn't see Kai Havertz do that, but this is so many games that a man is needed to perform, and Wirtz is doing it. Wirtz is doing it. Oh,
I honestly don't see where he goes aside from Bayern, at least as a next step. But that might be something to consider. Where else could you see a Florian Wirtz going?
Well, put that in the comment section, people, if you have a suggestion for Florian. He said Barcelona was his dream, but and then we can lead up with another player too that we don't know his future. That I see the interview of Declan Rice with Gary Neville, and Declan Rice said this: "I want to win a Premier League. I want to win a Champions League. I want to win an FA Cup, a League Cup, and win with England. But for all this to happen, Declan Rice, is it going to be at West Ham? I don't think so. So I have a bold prediction that it is the club that released him at 14, okay? Chelsea, if you don't know. They're going to get Declan Rice back next summer, okay? And I have a feeling a player like Jorginho or Kante or Kovacic is going to leave to give space to Declan Rice, and Mason Mount's going to love it."
Yeah,
So
and,
yeah.
and you could probably get a nice chunk of change for Conor Gallagher too if you're not going to play him. You know,
Oh, but
um,
you can't let him go, Bretson.
I mean,
Oh,
you can't. But if you have Declan Rice and you keep any of the two of the three
I,
that you're talking about, I don't see where he fits.
I,
I don't see where he fits
Jesus,
in.
I,
They don't.
Jesus.
They don't play the same way. But if you got Declan Rice, it's a Declan Rice, Mason Mount, and
There you
I
go.
don't
You
know.
see that can be
It's
the
one of those three.
Connor Gallagher can come. Billy Gilmore, I'd say he'd be the biggest player that will be. He'll
I
have
mean,
a tough time.
you raised 100 million from
Mhm.
fringe players for the most part the
Mhm.
first time, and I believe with Chelsea's loan army still in full force, I believe that they could do it again.
Mhm.
And that likely is going to be what it's going to take, right?
Mhm.
For Rice, at least 190. I mean, we know there's an English tash. I do. I mean, I believe Declan Rice is underrated as
Mhm.
much as he's in the limelight, as much as he's talked about. I do believe that Declan Rice is an underrated footballer. He's also got that leadership quality that at such a young age, like you can't
Yes.
teach that. Like people look up to the guy. And hell, the other day, I forget, was it midweek or was it last week?
Mhm.
But he just decided, screw it, I'm going to take it myself, and he roofed it. That was in the FA Cup. They were about
Yes.
to lose in extra time. He's like, screw it, I'm just gonna get this done myself. Like he's got that. That's something else that is pretty special, and I'd be excited to see him in a Chelsea setup. Actually,
That
I
was a
really would.
big moment. That was a big moment. I agree with you. Show leadership, and the team that needs him more. It's not Chelsea, okay? It's clearly Man United. Because
Yeah,
if we're talking leadership in the middle, all this, like he's the opposite of Pogba in that sense right now, okay? So Man United do need that player that is vocal in the middle and can change that. But I'm gonna speak now about an underrated player that we gotta highlight in the news, not to forget, and
yeah.
Mitrović broke the record of the most goals in championship, okay? And we're still in February, okay? With 31 goals. Mitrović, okay? Serbian striker, legend for many, okay? Very, very good player. I think,
Yeah.
he still didn't surpass. He's equaled Ivan Toney's record, goal record, that is 31. But as I said, we're still in February, so Mitrović is going to surpass. So
Yeah, I think he's going to surpass it. He scored again today in a 1-0 win. Fulham looks like they're on their way back to the Premier League. Overtime. It baffles me that he has not been able to put it together in the Premier League just yet. You know, he's had a couple chances, whether it's with Newcastle or with Fulham. I do understand COVID and injuries definitely hurt him, but he is the king of the Sky Bet Championship. And here's an even crazier stat: 31 goals. Obviously, we can put our heads around that because it's just January. They play 48 games or 46 games in the championship, but he has more goals than 5 teams. 5 teams in the championship. One player has scored more than 5 teams in the championship. It's unbelievable, and that just brings me to Fulham's goal scoring, because you also, we've talked about Fabio Carvalho, right? I mean, this guy has also been scoring goals. I don't know if he's at double digits yet, but he's pretty close. You have other guys in that team that have added plenty of
Harry
goals.
Wilson,
Rodrigo,
right?
yeah, Rodrigo Muniz, Harry Wilson. Is Harry Wilson there? Yeah, Harry Wilson is there. Anthony Robinson, Jedi. He's been playing well for them. But Mitrović, 31 goals. But then when you look at it, and Fulham has scored like close to 80 goals already this season, which is still 30 more or so than anyone else in the championship. You start to realize Fulham is like in the purgatory of being a Premier League team and being a championship team. They're too good for the championship, and they can't stay in the Premier League. So
That is
they're in the
true.
purgatory, and they need somebody, something, some player, whoever, that keeps them there, because they're going to wind up being Norwich City.
Well, there is Mark Silva though. I think he'll stay at Fulham maybe, so that'll be good for them. But Fabio Carvalho won't. Fabio Carvalho won't. He'll leave next summer. It's too difficult to stay with him. But is there anything in the news you forgot to mention, Breton?
No, not in the general news, but
So
definitely got some wonder kids we got to talk
So
about.
if there's anything we missed out, people, in the news, please put down below in the comment section below. And yeah, let's get to it. The Wonder Kids news. So I
Yeah.
wanted to start on my end here by saying what's happening with Riqui Puig, Breton. Okay, no manager seems to want to play him. Okay, and
Yeah.
I have a prediction here. I think it's not bold, but Riqui Puig for sure is going to leave Barcelona next summer. I think it's the best for Riqui Puig. It's not going to work out at Barca. And if Xavi doesn't play you, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's baffling to me now, almost that I question Riqui Puig more than I question any manager. I feel like he's had multiple chances to leave, and he's done the same. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to fight for my spot, or maybe he just likes the lack of drama behind never playing a game, but being part of one of the more reputable, marketable clubs on the planet. I don't know. Is it a player thing? We've backed him just because generally you and I have pretty blind faith in the Wonder Kids over anybody else. But Riqui Puig is like not a Wonder Kid anymore. He's pretty close to 24. If he's not already, he's 23 maybe. But I feel like we've been talking about him going to an Ajax, him going to a whatever for the last few years. And at what point is it Puig's fault?
Yes.
Or his agent's fault over anyone else? Because frankly, if you're not good enough, you're not going to get playing time.
I agree with you. I think it's Puig more than Barca, Breton. I think Puig really wanted to try his shot at Barca. And yeah, it's time to go. Exactly.
It is. Even if you wind up going the Cucurella route and you go to Getafe or you go to
not bad.
Cadiz, he resurrected his career there. And Cucurella's obviously pretty well. He's loved by us currently. I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but
it will. Trust me, Cucurella playing at Brighton is gonna be a Spanish national team player.
It's a good mention. Well, I'm gonna go really, really young. I'm gonna go really, really young because did you see that Manchester United signed an American?
What? No, I didn't.
This American, you might know him. He has a famous father. His name is Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. Yeah, he was born in America. It's a joke, of course. He's 11 years old. He took the number 7. We should not even be talking about this because, okay, he was prolific at Juventus.
Junior.
Yeah, but he's in Manchester United's academy. So
come on, he's good. Junior is good. He's got techers, man. He's got techers.
He's 11. He's 11, and let him alone. I just wanted to make a joke that he was American and go from there. We also know he's not actually American. He just could be if he wants to. If he wants to suit up for the U.S. men's national team 3 or 4 World Cups from now, that's a possibility.
That'd be a bold dynamic. U.S. Portugal. Junior. Everyone rooting for Junior. Bora, Cris.
That would be. But sticking with Portugal, there is a player that you already mentioned him, and you mentioned him in the same light as Fabio Vieira. But Rafael Leão, at what point does he deserve the same shot that you think Fabio Vieira deserves in this Portugal Turkey impending matchup? That means a whole lot because Leão's been, he's been different. What do you like to say? Different gravy. He's been a different breed so far this year. He's got 9 goals, 5 assists, and he, I believe, is the top dribbler in Serie. At least he gives you unpredictability, which I know Fernando Santos does not like unpredictability per se. But a goal and an assist versus Lazio in the Coppa Italia quarterfinals. Do you believe that he deserves a shot in these upcoming qualifiers, or do you feel like he's just going to be super sub, not even on the roster?
I think he'll be called up, yes. But I do think Rafael Leão surely should have been called up much earlier than he is. And this is the other thing, too, with Rafael Leão. Is he going to extend his contract at AC Milan? Because Rafael Leão has a big fee to pay to Sporting. I think it's 16 million euros with all that incident of him leaving for free Sporting to Lille because that was huge trouble. Okay, so the next club that signs a contract with Rafael Leão, they have to have this in mind, this 16 million euros. So I don't know. I don't know if Milan wants to pay it, but yeah, I do think if I was Rafael Leão, it's working out at AC Milan. Stay at AC Milan, okay? No invent. Don't invent, okay? Stick with what you know and keep on improving, man. That's
I'd forgotten about the drama around his exit at Sporting. I'd completely forgotten about that, and that was right around the first time you and I were like chatting about, right?
Man, I was huge. When I saw Rafael Leão play against Porto, like he was nearly getting a brace. He scored in Dragão. So he's got big talent. So hopefully he'll be called up for Portugal and he'll stay and extend. I want to see him stay and extend with AC Milan. So he needs it. He needs it. But talking about a young striker that is on the move, okay? I said Bayern Munich are guaranteed getting Wirtz, and I'm going to say it. Dortmund are guaranteed to get Karim Adeyemi, okay? Because it's going to be a 5-year deal because Fabrizio's already chatting. And it's going to be a terrific window for Dortmund if they already get Nicolas Süle for free, getting from Bayern Munich. Usually it's the other way around because Süle is a starter for Bayern Munich even. So this is a big boy steal. And getting Karim Adeyemi straight off the bat, those are two really good moves to start next season for Dortmund. But yeah, the inevitable loss of Haaland will happen too. So
yeah, did Fabrizio mention a fee on that?
On Karim Adeyemi?
Yeah.
I think it'd be between 30 and 40 million. I could be wrong, people, but I think it's 14 million the release clause on Karim Adeyemi.
Well, if you think about what Dortmund paid for Haaland amidst this craziness, and then you add a couple years of inflation into that, that actually sounds pretty right on that. But no, Karim Adeyemi, I mean, we're going to talk about him later if we get to any start bench sells. I love how direct of a player he is. I mean, you look at him and he leads that league, and I know it's the Austrian Bundesliga, but he leads that league in drives into the boxes, drives into the attacking third. I mean, he is just fearless, almost to a fault. And he's a lot of fun to watch. And he gives him that pizzazz that I think would go pretty well with a Daniel Malen or a future Moukoko if they ever play him again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And a Gio Reyna who always has a chip on his shoulder and a streak for creating really cool moments as well. So he's like one of those like marketable, it's a very, very good signing if they get it done. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get it done.
I'm confident. And Moukoko must be like, oh, what happens to me? I'm the young striker that Haaland was saying was magnificent at 15. So Moukoko must be feeling the pressure. But I have to mention here a player, a Wonderkid that ain't feeling the pressure, and he's already getting Stevie G talking big time about him. And you know who I'm going to talk about. He said, Stevie G, the coach of Aston Villa, said about his player, he's not following anyone's footsteps. Jacob Ramsey is Jacob Ramsey. And I got to say, he's got the confidence to be a top English baller, okay? And right now, he's the top goal scorer in the Premier League of Aston Villa with 5 goals, okay? 4 of them with Stevie G. So that is unbelievable, the development that Stevie G is doing with Jacob Ramsey. And I'm hyped. I'm hyped of what's happening with Aston Villa, man. That link-up of Jacob Ramsey with Coutinho, boy, oh boy, it's special. One of the best duos in the Premier League, and it just started. It started.
It did, and I honestly, you hit the nail on the head with that. I think Felipe Coutinho is a big reason why Jacob Ramsey is he's a pressure valve. I mean, so much attention has to be spent on Coutinho that it just opens up Ramsey. And those 2 finishes were not easy. Those 2 finishes, it was midweek, right, that he hit the place.
Yes.
Those 2 finishes were not easy, especially that second one that he roofed. Most people would mishit that, go far wide, or he'd sky it over the top because he got well under it. He knew exactly exactly what he was doing. And yeah, Jacob Ramsey and Felipe Coutinho, the duo that we did not know that we needed. But I am here for it because he's been impressive. And I'll be honest, I'm already being proven wrong about Coutinho. He looks hungry. It was one of those situations where what does Coutinho do when he is marked out of a game for the first 30, 35, 40 minutes? And he was not sharp. He was mildly sloppy. And all it took was 15 minutes near the end of that first half for him to literally change the game. Right. So he's already got like 4 goal contributions in like 170 minutes in the Premier League.
More than Grealish. More than Grealish already.
We're doing this already.
We have to. We have to. Like, get Coutinho out for 40 million. Jack Grealish is 100. And I'm sure Barcelona won't be hard to bargain with.
Yeah.
Oh, my days. But I have to talk about a situation, too, I saw midweek that I'm usually putting Arsenal in the mud, but that situation of Martinelli, that was embarrassing refereeing, in my opinion, okay? If you didn't see it, Martinelli got 2 yellow cards in 10 seconds. And the reason why I think that's ridiculous is Martinelli wasn't even aware of his first yellow card, okay? At least make him aware. I know it's a continuing the play, and then he does a yellow, but it makes no sense, okay? It makes no sense. Stop the game, get that yellow, and there you go. But don't give another yellow with the other foul, at least.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, the yellow is what? It's called a caution for a reason. And if you don't see the caution, you play on and you don't rein it in. You don't act with caution from there on out. So yeah, I'm with you. It was weird. I'm sure Martinelli will bounce back from it. But hey, let's stay in the Premier League. I got another one. We were just talking about how they raised 100 million and so on and so forth to bring in Lukaku, and they might have to do it again for a Declan Rice type of thing. Well, there's a certain somebody that we know is wanted by the club that he's currently at, and that's Armando Broja. And you talked about it last week, and he added another goal. I'll tell you what, watching him dance around and physically manhandle Rafael Varane on the wing earlier today, when Southampton was against United, that was very, very impressive. But I got to say, Armando Broja is up to 8 goals on loan at Southampton. And he's one that I just look at and I'm like, he might never get a chance in a Chelsea shirt. He might never get a chance in a Chelsea shirt if they're at bringing it in. And I hope he does. I really do hope he does. And I'm glad that you're confident, because then I can at least draw from that. Because he did so much too off the ball that wasn't necessarily seen. I mean, let's be honest, James Ward-Prowse's delivery was just on point midweek. That ridiculous Tottenham-Southampton game where Antonio Conte was trying to pick fights when they went up 2-1 and then they won 3-2 in the final minutes.
Gotta love that passion.
I just love it. I just think that could Broja be the guy for Southampton that starts to, I don't know, make them more than a mid-table team or a relegation fodder as of the last few years? Or will he actually, and you've already said it, you're confident that he will play in a Chelsea shirt, he will do well, and he will not be used as a bargaining chip to bring in a Declan Rice or somebody else for defense.
Well, West Ham will want him for sure, but I don't think you'd sell. I'm gonna say this. For me, Armando Broja is one of the most complete, best young strikers in the world. He's got it all, in my opinion. Physically, finishing, technique going forwards, in-game IQ. I really rate Armando Broja highly. So I think he's going to have that chance at Chelsea. Personally, Breton. I think Conor Gallagher next season is going to have a chance, and Armando Broja. No doubt. Those two have to get a chance.
Are you talking about, though? Are you talking about preseason and then they unload him for 70 million? Or are you talking about like they're actually going to get a chance to start up there above a Lukaku, above a Timo Werner?
Armando Broja, I think so. I think he'll stay and he'll go against Lukaku for that place. Yes. Okay. But I do think Lukaku is on the spot too. If Chelsea get a bid of 80-70 of I'd say Juve if Vlahovic didn't go there. So, but yes, I love the take of Armando Broja. The guy is legit. One of the best young forwards out there. But I have a question to do. Finishing here the pod is I saw some talk saying Vlahovic is at the same level of Mbappé and Erling Haaland. Okay, so Maximiliano Allegri said that about his players. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Vlahovic is already in the discussion next to Haaland and next to Mbappé?
No.
Ooh.
Whatever. He's
Maximiliano Allegri.
Maximiliano Allegri has not had the privilege of having a Kylian Mbappé or a Erling Haaland under his tutelage. So I'm sorry, sir. Not yet. Not yet at all. But I'll tell you what. I think a lot of people expected Vlahovic to not be as influential as he has been in his first couple games for Juventus. And I am very, very happy to see that it has been the opposite. He danced on that touchline that one time that I think led to the goal. Maybe it was the own goal. I forget. But he has looked impressive in his first couple starts. And I actually like what's brewing in Serie A. Younger players. I know Dzeko's at Inter, but with Gozens and, some new young blood in the Inter Milan and AC Milan and Juventus. I think Napoli needs to take the next step to do that to them too. But there's some good young blood that's getting injected into Serie A, Serie A's top clubs. That's going to make it really a little more parity for years to come. I don't think we're going to see a Juventus 9 seasons in a row or 10 seasons in a row like they did again anytime soon. But yeah, that's a good one. But I think we can't move on without mentioning, and I know he's 24, but we got to mention what Christopher Nkunku's doing.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, the season he has been having deserves so much more recognition than I think he's getting. Like, he is the guy for Leipzig. He's 19 goals, 13 assists. He has more goal involvements this season than Vlahovic, then Vinicius, then Thomas Mueller, then Erling Haaland, then Mo Salah.
Then
I think he's with Mo Salah. And he's got 7 goals in 6 Champions League games. And we don't mention him as much as we mention every person we just mentioned previous to that.
That is true.
And what he did the other day when they beat up on, was it Frankfurt, Stuttgart? One of those teams. He's special. He's special. Well, and such a different.
You said it. 32 goal involvements in 31 games, man. That is unbelievable. But yes, who will get Nkunku? Who will get Nkunku? Tottenham might fancy him. I always say that they need a player behind Son, behind Kane. Why not Nkunku?
I like that shot a lot. I do. That's a good one. I don't really have any bad. Yeah, I like that a lot. But he is really good.
He is.
I've been watching him a lot more, and
you mentioned Nkunku, so I'm gonna finish on my end with another underrated baller in the Bundesliga that is having a season that is phenomenal for him, and that is Moussa Diaby. Reached 10 Bundesliga goals in 20 games for the first time in his career. So I'm expecting Moussa Diaby to leave Leverkusen this season, at the end of this season. Terrific winger, bags of pace, and a goal involvement can always come from him too. I could see Liverpool getting him. Okay, he'd be the type of player that would develop an awful lot with Jurgen Klopp.
I don't think he'd be in their 11, obviously, with the firepower they have, but he could definitely get his chance over time. And I don't know, Diaby's definitely taken it another step higher since Leon Bailey left, and more importantly, he's remained healthy. And that's what you want. But Diaby and Wirtz and Schick, they all seem to have like this pretty good connection there. The issue is for some reason Leverkusen seems to leak goals a whole lot. Even with, we love individually a lot of the players back there, and it could just be because they're so new in terms of Hinkapie, I don't know how to say his last name, in terms of Tapsoba. And Frimpong. But a lot of those guys are new. for the most part, right? They've barely even been there a full season or full season and a half. So I don't know. Leverkusen just is so entertaining, and yet they can't keep a Bundesliga title rally going for long. But anyway, for the sake of time, there's two others I got to mention. Welcome back, Noni Madueke. He got his first goal for PSV Eindhoven since his injury, I believe in September. So, man, one of the most electric players when he's in form, when he is healthy, and it's really good to see him back on the pitch again. I think he followed that up with an assist as well. So it's good to know that he is back and ready to contribute right away, because PSV is not technically out of it in the Eredivisie just yet, although Ajax looks very, very hard to beat. Madueke was one that we honestly thought at some point should have been thought of as a English call-up. And he was in the form of his life before he got injured, so we're really happy to see him back. And then the other one I got to mention, I know Everton's going through this Jekyll and Hyde craziness right now. Midweek, they hated themselves. Then they had a really good showing today. And I got to say, if there's anyone that's like part of this rebuild for Everton moving forward and this kind of reimagining moving forward, Anthony Gordon has not, hit his peak yet. He might even have a very limited ceiling, but you cannot change the fact that he wears his heart on his sleeve, and it is very Everton. It is Everton through and through. And he had a goal and an assist against Bielsa's Leeds earlier. And I really think he's somebody that Everton should build their future around. I understand he's probably not the caliber of player that they want to build their future around, but he is definitely that makeup that when you think of Everton, you think of players that literally bleed for Everton over their time there, and he's one. And I really am excited to see what he can do, how much higher he can push the ceiling under Frank Lampard.
Well, Frank Lampard with Anthony Gordon and Stevie G with Jacob Ramsey. There you go. It's a bold rivalry of duos. So, people, if there's anything that we've missed out in the Wonderkids news, please put down below in the comment section below. And FC Wonderkid episode 43 in the wraps, people. Don't forget, if you want to support us much more, click in the subscription button and the like button of this video and go to fcwonderkid.com, people. Go visit our website and go cop the merch, man. Go bold and go cop it. And
I think we're gonna have to do a live with all these start bench cells we're collecting, because we keep talking too much, man. But once again, it was fun talking to you, and another week of football lies ahead. Let's go.
There you go. So looking forward for episode 44 next weekend. And everyone, I hope you guys have a phenomenal week. And don't forget to go bold, people. Have a nice one.